To our grade 5 coding class for today, 16 July 2020. I hope everybody had a wonderful morning so far and that you guys are ready to get stuck into our coding lesson for today. Our topic for today will be nested loops. We reviewed so much yesterday and you guys interacted so nicely yesterday that I got the opportunity to help you guys with some things that you didn't understand or some things that you were stuck on. So today we're actually going to do the lesson that we were planning on doing yesterday. So, but the last couple of days, all the lessons have been flowing into one another because they all had the same topic, nested loops. We just used different platform, Minecraft and maybe the Harvester, and now today Frozen, to complete or just to practice our concepts and just getting to know how loops and nested loops really work. I hope everybody is ready for today's lesson. And then I just want to welcome anybody that's new, even on our YouTube channel. My name is Mike Geldenes, and I love teaching you guys coding, and I just want to say thank you for joining us and spending your time learning coding. Okay, guys, so what are our objectives for today? Our objectives for today would be to break apart code into the largest repeatable sequence using both loops and nested loops. Now remember, our loops are something that we do over and over again. And a nested loop is a loop within another loop. So that's kind of gets quite exciting, and especially when we carry on, when we start writing functions, those are really awesome, and we can actually make our code so much more practical and user-friendly once we start incorporating these things, because then we don't have to write so many lines of code for simple actions. Then we can recall code, and it's just a lot of fun. And it does take some practice to spot these things and to work them out. But because we love it, we do it, and just makes it so much easier. And I see Bonono also typed in the chat box, we love coding, so yes, I'm glad to hear that, because when we love something, we really put our focus in on it, and it's so much easier for us to learn. Our second objective would be to recognize the difference between using a loop and a nested loop. And we're also going to describe when a loop, a nested loop, or no loop is needed. Okay, so the only important one there is because we understand now that when we do things over and over, it's better to use loops, and then no loops as soon as there's a change in pattern or a different command that we have to put in, then we can't use the loop, because that extra command is going to throw out the rest of our code. Now, yesterday we spent a lot of time, and I think this is where I explained nicely, and about degrees and how we are going to turn. So I'm not going to spend that much time on it. I'm just going to run through it quickly. Like I said, it's easier to practice in. Sometimes the instructions sound so confusing, but once you do it, it's a little bit better. And I always think, because as some of you might know, I was also teaching in Taiwan for 6.5 years. And there I became a really big board gamer. And once you buy a new board game, the rule books, they are so difficult and confusing because it's just so many instructions. And we found that the best thing is, you know what, start playing the game. And then once you get to something that you don't know, then you figure it out. So you can read through everything just to get an idea. But then when you start playing, that's when you really start understanding how these things work. So, and I see Karina said she's a little scared because she doesn't really know how to do coding and it's confusing. But like Karina, all I want to tell you is when we start out, when I also started out, I didn't know what to do. And, you know, every time I come back and every time I do something new, it just gets a little bit easier. So thank you for coming back and keeping at it. And you will see sooner or later, you're going to start, even if we just learn one new thing each day about coding, that's great. Because in the end, you guys have a jump on everybody else because we're already starting now with coding. Some people might only start coding after school or at university. So this is a nice platform for you guys to start out with. Even if you just starting to understand the concepts, that's great. Okay, guys, so I'm going to run through the degrees things quickly. Just a couple of things I want to show out to you guys. Remember, we have to keep in mind in which direction our character is moving and in which way she is turning. And then we can, when we work with degrees, we can actually turn in any direction, as far or as much or as little as possible. Once we have moved to a position, to a new position, that new point becomes our base from where we have to make our turn. So just remember that. We cannot keep this as our base, this first line. The new point, that will become our new base, and that is where we will be turning from. Okay, so, and always remember, if you are facing in a direction, you've got a left hand and you've got a right hand. So there will be two directions to turn in. In this case, it was left. And then here, Elsa is facing in that direction where my arrow is. So on her left hand, there's a left-hand side and a right-hand side. And then she can turn in any amount of degrees in either direction. So she can either turn left with an amount of degrees, or she can turn right with a certain amount of degrees. Just keep that in mind. Now, yesterday, I just want to go through this quickly. That's the same. We have patterns like that, where she will move in a direction, she will turn, jump back to the middle, not move, because remember, if we move, we draw a line. If we don't want to draw a line, we have to jump to a position. And we jump back to the middle, and then we draw the new line. Now, sometimes we don't have a middle point on our display. There we go. And then remember, each line becomes the new base, and then she walks in a circle. Now, yesterday we also spoke quickly about pixels, and each screen or display has a certain amount of pixels. And our block in Codeorg, I don't know if you guys can remember, I mentioned it, it's got 400 by 400. Now, if you zoom in, you'll start seeing little blocks, and that is what a picture is made up of. Okay, so what are pixels? The word pixel means a picture element. A pixel is represented by a dot or square on a computer monitor. Pixels are the basic building blocks of a digital image or display. Okay, so here we've got Elsa in our Codeorg display, and I just want to explain this block over here. Remember, we have jump to, and then here we have over and down. We can move a certain amount of pixels. So a pixel would be one block. If I say move 20 pixels, we will draw a line over 20 of these little blocks, depending on the direction we move in, okay? If I jump, I will move to a specific block. And our play area in Codeorg, like I said, is 400 by 400. There we go, right in the corner will be 0 by 0. And then right at the other corner, that will be 400 by 400. Because remember, if we move from left to right, that is represented by over. That is what you see up here. So 200 over means we will have moved 200 blocks from the left to the right. 200 down is we'll move 200 from the top down. So because our screen is 400 by 400, 200 by 200 will be right in the middle. That's down, so that would be, and then right there, 200 by 200 will be right in the middle. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and then what we'll do is we'll go straight to code.org. So if you guys give me a few seconds, I'm going to change my screen, and then I'll share the link for you. And I see that Karina said she loves Frozen, but Frozen 2 is the scariest. I haven't seen Frozen 2 yet, so I'll go and watch it. I want to see why it's so scary. So let's quickly move over, new share. There we go. And then I need to share the puzzle with you guys. There we go, guys. There's puzzle number 1. You guys can go there, and remember, just tell me in or here so that I know I can carry on, so that you guys are ready. And now, guys, there we are, Faith is in, Lesedi is in. What we are going to do here, we are going to, similar to the artist we had where we drew pictures, Elsa is going to do some ice skating, and she is going to create some patterns on the ice. Okay, Bonono is in, Karina is in. Oh, that's nice and fast today. Okay, guys, so the first thing, remember, what we always have to do is we have to read our instructions to just know exactly what to do. Now let's see. Hi, I'm Elsa. Help me draw a shape. Draw a hexagon with 50 pixel long sides. Now remember, that is our distance. How far are we going to move? We're going to move 50 pixels. How to draw a hexagon? You will need to move forward by 50 pixels, turn right by 60 degrees, and then repeat a total of 6 times. So luckily here they tell us exactly what to do. So let's follow those instructions quickly. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. And there you can see Elsa is already in the middle of our screen, our play area. And let's follow what they do. They say move forward by 50 pixels. So we go to the move forward. We drag that in. And then we can see right here, it says by 100 pixels, okay? We only want 50, otherwise our hexagon is gonna be too big, so we need to change that to 50. 50 pixels, there we go. That's still easy enough. I hope everybody is with me on this one. And then they say turn right by 60 degrees. We will go to our turn right. And luckily it is already on 60 degrees. I don't need to change it. But if you click on it, you will see, there you go. You can turn any one of those directions. And remember, right, if our character is facing this way, this will be his right, and that will be his left. Because if I change this to left, you'll see that line goes to the top. Let's see. There we go. Now that line is on top. Oh, sorry, guys. Didn't I share the link? Oh, somebody joined a little bit late. I did. Okay, let me share it again quickly. There we go. There's our link again. So if I change this to right, this is going to be at the bottom. So just remember the dot is the direction your character is looking into. So Elsa is looking that way, and that is why this is her left on top and her right at the bottom. Okay, so we need to turn right and by 60 degrees. Okay, so let's just run that and we will see, look at that, she draws a line. Okay, so right there, that's still pretty easy. Okay, we can also, if we look at our toolbox is where we find all our blocks. We can see what's available: move, jump, turn. Now, this jump gives us jump forward by, and this one jump to, over and down. Remember, over and down is anywhere we want to move on this display. And this jump forward, if we move in this direction and we just want to hop forward, we can also do that. If we don't know what that point on the screen is going to be, we can just jump forward by 100 as well. Comments, we can just make notes for ourselves. And then there's our repeats. Okay, now, if we want, now we have to remember, if we just want to make a move forward again, we can repeat this code, move forward, and remember we want to do it by 50, and we have to remember to turn right again. Now I want to show you, because in our instructions, they told us repeat a total of 6 times. I just wanted to do it 2 times here quickly just to show you. So if I reset and run again, she will make 2 lines, 1, 2, okay. And then if we manually code it line by line, we would do it again, because now she's turned. Look in which direction she is facing. Let me go here. Look in which direction she is facing. So a 60-degree turn will then make her go this way. But if I put these 2 next to each other, we can see they are the same. And that is why they said, if we want to go around and draw 6 lines, we can take our code, move forward and turn right. We can just repeat it 6 times. Let's put it in a repeat. And we repeat that 6 times. Then we will see, we will actually draw the entire hexagon. So let's reset and run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. There we go. And we have gone right around. We have gone right around and we drew the hexagon. Okay, Faith said she did it. Well done, Karina. But okay, nice, guys. So yes. Remember, if we wanted to draw, before I carry on, if we wanted to draw a square only has 4 sides. So we are not going to repeat 6 sides, we're going to repeat 4 sides, okay? 4 times. And if we move forward by 50, we have to turn by how many? We have to turn by 90 degrees to draw a square. So I just want to show you if we change it to a square, and I want to make a nice big square. So let's change that to 100. so you guys can just see the difference. Remember, we have to remember how many times a hexagon has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. And that's why we repeated the same thing 6 times. A square only has 4 sides, but the angle inside is bigger, 90 degrees. What you guys learned this in math as well. So let's reset and run that. You'll see I'm going to draw a big square. Look at that. I've got a square. Okay. Now also remember, if you want to draw a triangle has only 3 sides. Okay. And if I draw all the sides the same length, the angles inside a triangle will be 60 degrees. So I'm going to leave this bit. I just want to draw a triangle on top of this one. And remember which way she's facing. She is looking to the right. So the first thing I'm going to do, now I'm just going to move forward again. So my triangle has got 3 sides. Let's make that 3 sides. She is going to turn, she's going to move forward by 100. And then she is going to turn, remember now she is going to go, she's moving forward by 100 and then she has to go up. So that is left. So she is going to turn left by 60 degrees. Not right, turn left. And if you want to check, you can see she's going to turn left by 60 degrees. So she's going to the top. Okay, she's going to turn left and she's going to repeat that 3 times. Let's reset and run that. Firstly, I'm going to draw my square, 4 sides. You don't have to do the same. I just want to, oh, now look at that. I did something wrong over here. And remember, I shouldn't have turned 60 degrees. I should have turned 120. 60 degrees is just this way. So I should have turned 120 degrees. So let's try that again. I just want to show you guys, Faith asked if she should do the same. You can if you want to. And look at that. Then you can draw a triangle. And Bonono says this is very hard. If I promise, guys, play around with your angles, play around with your sides. It will get easier. We just have to remember which direction our character is moving in. Always remember that. And then it looks like a house. Yes. So you can draw anything you want, really. And if I wanted to repeat all this, you can also do that. Okay, I want to show you a little something quickly. Let's just put in a turn. When I finish my house, I want to turn. And I just want to turn right by, let's make it 45 degrees. A rectangle you can also draw, but then you won't be able to repeat it. You won't be able to just repeat this 4 times. You have to write code for a long side and a short side and repeat that twice because you have 2 long sides, 2 short sides. So just remember, you have to visualize what you are doing, practice what you want to do. But now I want to repeat all this, and you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to put everything in a repeat. And I think, let's think, how many 45s are there in 360? Because remember, 360 is a circle, and I want to go in a circle. Let's think, 490, so 8. I'm going to repeat everything 8 times, and then you will see what's going to happen. What am I going to do now? Look at this. Just by repeating everything 8 times and turning a little bit when I finish each one. So I'm going to draw 1 house, and I'm going to draw 7 other houses, but all at a different angle. Let's look at this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. 1 house, there we go. Then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to draw a different house. 8 times, but every time I'm just turning a little bit. And then we can see there's quite a cool pattern starting to develop on my screen. And those are just a whole bunch of houses drawn over each other, triangles and squares. And I'm making a nice, beautiful pattern. One more. There we go. All done. 8 squares, 8 triangles. Just repeating them over and over again. So you can really do absolutely anything. And now what we're going to do next, let's change everything because they only want us to make a hexagon. So let's throw all this away. A hexagon, it's got 6 sides. And remember, they tell us in our instructions, a hexagon has got 6 sides. They want each side to be 50. So here we're just following instructions. It did make a beautiful pattern. Yes, Faith. That is why you guys can also make any pattern you want and send it to me, and I'll share it with everybody in class. So you guys can, after our class today, you can still send me your homework, and that will just be make your own pattern, okay, and send it to me. And we have to turn, they tell us to turn right by 60 degrees. So this one is just following instructions. Let's reset and run, and then we can start. Because this code that they're giving us here, we're actually going to make a snowflake with. We're actually going to make a snowflake. Every time we'll just add a little bit to it. So same code, nothing has changed. That is our hexagon. All that they tell us now, after your hexagon, turn right by 60 degrees, then draw a line that is 150 pixels long. So guys, all we have to do is they just tell us, we've done all this already. There's our hexagon. They tell us, let's follow instructions, turn right by 60 degrees. Let's go and get a turn right by 60 degrees. We'll just add it at the bottom. And then they say, draw a line that is 150 long. So remember, just by Elsa moving, she draws on the ice with her ice skates. So move forward, and we just have to change that to 150. And let's see what happens. There we go. So we drew a line, turned, we drew the hexagon, turned by 60, and then moved forward 150. I'm so proud of you guys. I see you guys are getting it right on your side as well in the messages. Well done, guys. Well done. Then let's draw the next part of our snowflake. So right now we're just following instructions. We've got our hexagon and our line. Let's see, what do we need to do next? Now here they tell us to turn this code into a snowflake. Nest all the code inside another repeat loop and run it in a total of 6 times. You should only need to add 1 block. Now look here, they've gave us a block at our, they added a block to our code. Now remember, what does this do? I'm going to show you, it just jumps back. So remember, we ended right here. We ended by her drawing the line. Now, if we want her to move without drawing other lines, we have to make her jump. So where are we going to make her jump to? She's going to jump to the middle. You can get her back to the middle without using the jump, but then you have to use a move backwards move, you can move her backwards, also by 150. And then she will be at the same place, because remember, if you move forward and you move back, that is the same. You'll be at the same spot. But we're not going to use that because later on, that is not going to help us. So now you just jump to middle center. Remember, we can also use the jump to over or down, because we know the center is 200 by 200. So we know that these two blocks, I'm putting them next to each other, jump to middle center position or jump to 200 over 200, they are the same. It's the middle. And you can see inside we have other positions as well. Random, top left, top center, top right. And you can make more than one snowflake in different places. But let's do what they say. They've given us this one, and now they say we should only use one block. And what do we need to do? We need to put in a repeat. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put everything inside the repeat, because what is going to happen? She's going to jump back to the middle, and then we will see what will happen. Let's see. Just add 6 times, and let's run it again. There we go. There's our hexagon. There's our line. Jumps back to the middle, and then she starts all over again. Remember, she is facing in this direction already. So then she starts walking down and then turning. And look at that. It's almost the same as my little squares and triangles, but now she's doing hexagons and lines. And there we have a beautiful snowflake just from a hexagon and a straight line. Okay, something that we just did over and over again. Okay, awesome. That's so exciting. And I see Faith said hers worked. I'm so glad, guys. Let me move on to the next one. Now we're going to make our little snowflake more interesting. Okay, and this is where you guys can also start creating your own patterns. We will run through this, and at the last one, I'm going to leave you guys to actually just do whatever you want and send your patterns to me so I can share it with the class. So let's continue. Now let's quickly see what they want us to do next. This icon means that this level is part of a larger project. Changes will be saved. Okay, that just tells us this is why our code appears for us every time, because we're doing the same thing, we're just adding to it. So we don't have to write everything again, we can just add. Let's see what they want us to do. Inspiration. Where do you need to add code if you want to draw a tiny square at the tip of each long line? Okay, and then they give us some more instructions. You can try whatever you want in the puzzle, but here is an idea. Try a tiny square at the end of each line. And now they tell us, how do we make a square? Each side should be 15 pixels long. You should turn by 90 degrees, and you should repeat those steps 1 and 2, like we did in the first puzzle, 4 times. Square has 4 sides with 90-degree angles. Before we're going to do this, I want to make it a little bit easier for myself, and I want to put in some comments. Right here, I want to put in, remember, it doesn't change your code. That just helps you to remember things. I'm going to put here hexagon. Hexagon, so that I know that this code in here is for my hexagon. I'm going to put in another comment over here. That is my line, just so that I know what each piece of code does. So there I put some comments in for myself. I know that that first one is a hexagon, and I know the second part is a line. Now they want me to do a square. So I'm going to, and I know that I also need 6 squares, so it's going to be inside this repeat. I'm going to put that inside. Yes, you guys can do the same. Do the same if you just want to follow me, or you can do something different. But yes, you guys can do the same. And then here, I know I want a square, so I'm going to make my comment here square so that I know that that will be my square. Now, what do they tell us? What do we need to do for a square? We need to move forward by 15 pixels. So let's do a square. I want to move forward. And remember, when you finish this line, you're going to move forward by 150. So you'll be right here at the end already. So all you need to do now is draw a square. Move 15 forward. And let's just change that. Otherwise, it's going to be too big. Sometimes I forget to do that. The first time I did it, I left that. I just said moved forward by 100 and then turn. Let's say turn left by 90. Turn left by 90. Let's run it just quickly and see what happens. Okay, that's not a square, that's just a line. I have to repeat this. Let's stop this, reset. And that messed up my orca. I need to repeat this because I need to make a square. They said repeat those actions a total of 4 times. So let's repeat that 4 times. And I have to take out this jump to the middle because I want to draw it first before I jump to the middle. There we go. I should have put it in there. So we're going to draw the hexagon, the line, the square, and then jump back to the middle because otherwise it will continue at the end. So hexagon, line, square. Let's run and see if it works. There's our hexagon. There's our line. But now this is what I meant. If you don't change it, I should have wanted to pause it. My line is too long. I have to make it 15. You just remember to follow the instructions carefully. 15. And let's run it. Hexagon, line, square. There we go. Now we've created exactly what they told us to do. I just see some of you might still be a little bit behind us. If you struggle and you want to get where we are, you just tell me, please copy the link. Then every time I will copy the link of the puzzle I am on. So you guys can actually see what I'm busy with at that moment, okay? And I want to show you guys another thing for those of you that are new. If you look in your instructions, oh no, they don't have a hint. They don't have a help button in this puzzle. Normally there's a little light bulb that gives you some hints. Okay. I'm just quickly going to jump back so Karina can see my code for puzzle number 2. Remember, Karina, all you just add the first couple of puzzles, we just do exactly what they just read the instructions and add it at the bottom of our code. Okay. Guys, what I want you to do now, because I see our time is also, we don't have much time left. I want you guys, let me go back to puzzle number 4. And I'm going to copy the link for puzzle number 4. This is the one we've just finished. So let me run it and then I'll copy the link for puzzle number 5. And guys, don't worry, even if you get stuck. The first time I did this puzzle as well, I also didn't do it the first time. I turned the wrong way, or my square was too big because I didn't read the instructions nicely. So try it. I think the first time I did this, I had to do my snowflake 3 times or 4 times just to make it work nicely. Remember, go code for code, line for line, and put in comments so that you know where you are or what you are busy with. Okay. Let's finish. And I'm going to share the new link for you. Now, guys, what I want you to do here, this is going to be your challenge today is, and this might help you a little bit here where we said, what is the hexagon? What is the square? Because in this challenge, let me copy and paste it for you, everybody in the chat box. Let's read the instructions. They say, try changing the shapes or the lengths of the lines you make to make this your own, okay? So you can do whatever you want. Make your hexagons and triangles, your hexagons and squares bigger, smaller, your lines longer. See what you can come up with. Change the angles. But what I can suggest, my biggest tip for you, is only change one thing at a time. Run your program, see what happens after you've made that change. If it doesn't work, change it back. If you change too many things at once, it can get really confusing because then Elsa will jump around everywhere. So don't try and change too many things at once. Try and change one thing at a time. Now look at the inspiration they give us. You can change your own drawing in any way you want, but here's an idea. Try switching the types of shapes in the middle of the snowflake with the one at the end of each line. So now they want a square in the middle and they want a hexagon at the end. And that is what made this code nice. We wrote hexagon and we wrote square. Now we can just switch these two around, okay? But what you have to remember now is your sizes are going to make a big difference. So even if I just switch these two around, so let me put this one on top. Switch them around. I'm not going to show you. I want you guys to try and I want you to send me your links. Switch them around, test it. Really, this is the biggest tip I can give you today. Change one thing at a time. But what you have to remember now, your lengths and you're going to have to change as well. You are going to have to change the length and the degrees that you guys are going to turn. So make sure you only change one at a time. Otherwise, you're going to really get lost on this one. Okay. I hope you guys play around with it. I want you to play around with it. I don't want to help you right now. We will look at it again tomorrow. But like I said, the only way we're going to learn is if we try and we practice. So what I want you guys, I want you to try and solve that. If you can, send it to me. If you have questions, ask me. By all means, I would really love to hear from you guys. Okay, so let me give you my email address so you can send your code and your questions to me. There we go. mgeldenes81@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you guys. So please, please, please send me, or if you want to make your own pattern, send that to me as well. Okay, I'm typing my email address in the chat box as well for you to copy. There we go. And have fun with this, guys. Play around, see what you can come up with, and then I will see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.